This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News. News-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Instance, but like my Russian professor told me, she says I lost 2 uncles, a brother, 3 nephews in 1919 when the U.S. government had several divisions of the United States Army occupying portions of continental Russia, trying to assist the White Army against the Red Army. You see, we invaded Russia in the 20th century. We sent, I think, 5 or 6 divisions over there. So, you know, you look at an invader and you say, these guys dropped the bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. We didn't. You know, they bombed Dresden and killed 125,000 people in one night. They had 5 different raids on Tokyo where they killed more than 120,000 Japanese per raid. They had burnt out every city in Japan, starting from the biggest going down, except for 4 that they left untouched. Hiroshima, and Nagasaki were 2 of the 4 where they had pre-planned testing the atom bomb on to see what it could do, and they wanted it in a pristine condition, undamaged. You see, we're that cold-blooded. So where did we get that cold-blooded? Unconditional surrender from General Ulysses Simpson Grant, also known as Unconditional Surrender Grant, that was his nickname, and from Give No Quarter, Ask No Quarter in our relations with the Native Americans on the American frontier.
So this is the American way.
That's the American way. Remember a shootout at the OK Corral. By the way, you know Wyatt Earp and his boys got charged with murder, and they went to trial on that too.
Right.
But you see, the popularization of it, television, all those movies, they never touched on the trial. They just, you know, it was a shootout and the Earp boys and walked away from it scot-free. Didn't work that way. By the way, we talked about this. They indicted Nathan Bedford Forrest, Fustus with the Mostest, for murder.
Right.
For killing somebody. You see, so, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. They indicted Hamilton for that mess and Madison for that mess on the duels. You see, he lived on the frontier, but Andrew Jackson of Tennessee was wanted in several states for first-degree murder for the people he killed during duels. He was a homicidal maniac. When dealing with the Seminole Indians in the Indian-American War, which the War Department classified as the Colored Wars because of the intermixture of runaway slaves and the Seminoles, his favorite tactic was to capture women and children, lock them in a wooden stockade, and burn it to the ground with them inside it.
He was Irish, right? He was Scotch-Irish?
Something like that,
Yeah.
but he had colored in him too.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
From South Carolina?
Tennessee.
Was he original? Was he born?
I don't know where he's from. South Carolina. Yeah, probably. Tennessee used to be a territory of South Carolina.
So let me tell you, there's another one, like Andrew Jackson, Teddy Roosevelt, who said that Henry Johnson, like from the Harlem Hellfighters, just got the Medal of Honor, like one of the 5 bravest Americans of World War I. But he was a devout racist, and it's now giving him an award, the Medal of Honor. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know about that in family. I had an Uncle Booker who joined the 10th Cavalry in 1881. He ran up to first sergeant, and then he retired right at the turn of the century. Economics were not bad, so in the next decade he joined up with what became the Alabama Big Red Ones. So he became a sergeant major danger for the Alabama Big Red One, and I guess a whole lot of good old boys would have died, turned over in their grave if they knew that there was a colored man that was top sarge.
Wow.
You never can tell what goes on. And Alabama Big Red One was totally segregated. They were famous for that in World War II.
Wow.
Alabama boys, Big Red One.
So they the real Roll Tide.
Yeah.
The real Crimson Red.
They had a thing in Sydney, Australia. They wouldn't let black folk in there, including what's the famous black Arthur Ashe tennis player, another UCLA alumnus.
Okay.
Because in World War II they had a black division over there, and when they were on recreational leave in Sydney, they had a riot with a white division, and they brought in tanks and artillery, and for 3 days they shot at each other and blocked the bridge.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's all kinds of things went on, see.